All right, guys, we are live here again. Our very last guest of the convention. I can't believe it. 3 days. This has been amazing here at Ranger Stop and Pop in Atlanta. Abraham Rodriguez. I mean, how are you?
Hello. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So excited to do this and just happy to be here at Ranger Stop. I'm having a blast.
I know it's so cool. I was just telling Jazz before as well. Um, watching Beast Morphers through the pandemic kind of rekindled my love for the Rangers again, and seeing you on there, and not to also mention that you also are on Saved by the Bell,
Yes.
another pop culture icon hit. I mean, look at you. You're 2 for 2 hitting
Thank
pop culture
you.
iconic shows there. Tell me a little bit. How did you get involved with Power Rangers?
So I got the audition from my agent in LA, and I remember the first thing that like really excited me about it was seeing that it shot in New Zealand and we would have to relocate for 9 months. I always dreamed of filming something outside of the country and getting to travel with my castmates and yeah, just filming a project in a different country, and that's exactly what this was. So then to get it and go to New Zealand was a dream come true and such a beautiful experience. But yeah, I was auditioning for it. I originally was actually auditioning for the comedic role for Ben, and I auditioned for that 3 times, went to producers for it, and in my producer session, our executive producer, Chip Lynn, had me read for one of the Rangers. And just like, it was all so last minute. It was just like happening so fast. He just like gave them to me. They gave me like 5 minutes to step out, go over it really quick, like 2 scenes that I had never read before. And then I went back in, I did my thing, and then that same day when I got home, I got a call from my agent, and she told me that they wanted to put me in a martial arts class with Mike Chat, one of the past Rangers. And so I did that the next morning at 6 a.m. So everything started happening just so crazy, so fast. I trained with him for about a month, and I did Taekwondo when I was like, I think 12 or something, but very little, like barely anything. So I didn't really have a lot of martial arts experience. So getting thrown into that was definitely a challenge, but it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And that's where I learned my audition routine. And then a month after that producer session, I had our testing audition. And yeah, I went in. There was like 3 final days, and I went in on the second day. And after that day, it went so good, so happy. They were having me go in and out of the room. Chip saw that I spoke Spanish on my resume and asked me to look into the camera and tell a story in Spanish. And then he was like, okay. And then I also have it on my resume that I can do like a Spanish accent. So he's like, now tell me that same story in English, but with like the Spanish accent. And then he referenced Ricky Ricardo, which I had never seen from, what was it? I just
I
forgot.
Love Lucy.
Yeah, I Love Lucy. So they had me go out into another room and look up an episode of I Love Lucy with Ricardo in it to like kind of mimic his accent. And then I went back in and did that, and it was a lot of fun. So they were really working me in so many different ways. And then I went home and I got another call from my agent, and she told me that they wanted me to go back the next day, but they wanted me to go out and get a gold ranger, a gold t-shirt, to represent like the gold ranger. Because all the guys that were auditioning only wore a red shirt or a blue shirt. I was wearing a blue one, I think, yeah. So then I now last minute have to like rush to a store and find a gold shirt, which is really hard to find. And yeah, I ended up finding like a dark yellow that worked. And yeah, I went in the next day, did my thing again. I got the call that I booked it about a month later, and then went to New Zealand and shot it.
That is so cool. And you just mentioned, you have the Latino descent, which is amazing. Power Rangers has always been so inclusive, right?
Yes.
With everyone from all walks of life being part of the show. So it's amazing to hear this. I'm so proud of, the heritage, the Latin heritage,
Thank you.
continuing to pass it on the television side. Did you grow up watching Rangers? Is it something that you already had known about and followed for years, or is it something that you were like, oh, I would like to try this out?
I do know like what it is, and I had like a knowledge of what it was when I was younger. I didn't necessarily like watch it a ton. My two older brothers were fans of the show, and they watched it a lot, so I watched it like from them watching it. But yeah, I was definitely familiar with it, and it's so cool to be a part of a franchise like this that's just so known and recognized all over the world. And it's cool to a lot of people like haven't seen our season or past seasons, but they just still know what Power Rangers is. Like, you just say the name and everyone knows what it is and has an idea. So it's cool to be a part of something that big.
And you played a cool character, just the way they brought your story into it and how you became a ranger and your brother in the show and everything. Like, you had a really cool backstory. It wasn't like they just threw you in there for the mix, So it was really great to see that. Fast forward a little bit, now you're on Saved by the Bell. How does that feel like to be part of yet another iconic franchise?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of Power Ranger fans are also Saved by the Bell fans, so it's crazy to be a part of two big nostalgic shows, especially back to back. It's crazy. I actually just wrapped season 2 of Saved by the Bell on Thursday. And yeah, it was great. It's one of my favorite projects, one of my favorite characters. It shoots at Universal, which is like 5 minutes down the street from my apartment.
Very
so it's
nice.
so nice and easy. But yeah, the cast and crew is so insanely talented. They're so amazing to work with. And yeah, I didn't watch Saved by the Bell because I think I'm too young for it. It wasn't really my generation. But that's also one of those shows that you just know what it is. I've always heard Saved by the Bell, never watched it, but like you just know. So then when I booked the job, I went back and watched the first and last season to get a feel for it and understanding. And yeah, they've done such a beautiful job of meshing the original with this new version of it. So yeah, it's been great.
I was really happy to see your name come up. I was like, wait a second, I know who that is. Like, I've seen him somewhere. So it was really cool, like, again, to see you continue to flourish in your careers, like,
Thank you.
really going out there, man. I'm really happy for you. Any
you.
projects besides Saved by the Bell that you might be working on and looking forward to? Or, I mean, if you can't talk about it, that's fine. But is there anything that you are planning for the future now?
As far as acting, I'm just auditioning right now. It'll be nice to have some time off right now from. I've been filming since June, so yeah, it's definitely tiring, but I love it. And yeah, it'll be nice to have a little break now. But yeah, I'm continuing to audition and excited for what's next and what's to come. I also wrote a poetry book called Mixed Feelings, and that comes out in spring of next year. It's being traditionally published, so it'll be in stores and stuff. And you can follow my poetry account at Abraham.Rod is my regular Instagram, but Abraham Rod Poetry is my poetry account. And yeah, that's another big project that I'm working on right now, and just in the process of publishing it and stuff, and super excited for it to come out.
Very cool, man. I'm super excited for you, and I know that your fans out there are super excited to hear of all these amazing news that you're doing. I want to thank you for taking the time to come here on the panel. For being part of Ranger Stop and Pop, and I hope that we continue to see you out here in the con scene, because you're, you're part of the Ranger legacy now, sort of say. So thank you again. I appreciate you, Abraham.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wrap. RSP Lounge here. Until next year, Ranger Stop and Pop. God, this has been an incredible 3 days. Thank you again for everyone who tuned in, watched, any questions that came in. We're sorry we didn't get to them, but we're keeping an eye out on those things. So thank you again. Have a great one, and we'll see you guys soon.